Welcome everybody to our Friday intermediate flow. We're going to be starting out with setting our intention and doing a little breath work. So feel free, if you have a cushion to sit on, go ahead and grab that and kind of settle in just to begin with. It's kind of the end of our week here, which is maybe a good thing, but always weekends are just as busy. So I thought we would just start with a little time to ourselves here in our seated position. So find that comfortable seated position. Sukhasana, easy pose, is a great one. If this bothers your knees, feel free to put your legs out front or any other posture that works best for you. And then just go ahead and kind of sit up a little bit straighter without being too rigid in the spine. So I always, you see me do this, it's because I'm making sure that my spine isn't just stiff, but it's tall and long. Go ahead and close the eyes. And then we're just going to bring a little awareness to the body before we find our breath. So go ahead and bring your awareness to the space between your eyebrows and just soften that. Then bring your awareness to your jaw. And if you feel like there's tension there, go ahead and open the mouth really wide. Give it a stretch. Just open and let it close. If you need to do that a couple times, go ahead. Excellent. And then we're going to go ahead and bring our shoulders up towards our ears, squeeze them, and drop them down. If that felt good, go ahead and do it a couple more times. Squeeze them up towards the ears and drop them down. Excellent. Then let's take a big breath in. Take a nice, deep, long breath in, as big as you can get it. Fill up the lungs. And then when you don't think you can hold anymore, take a couple sips more, hold that breath. Really allow the lungs to stretch and open, and then release. Let's do that again. Big breath in. Really stretch, really open. Keep sucking in just a little bit more air. And then release. Excellent. Let's bring our chin down towards our chest. And from here, we will set our intention for our practice today. And then go ahead and send a kind thought off to someone else. Feel free to lift the chin. If you want to keep your eyes closed, you can. We're just going to work on our breath work. If you want to have a soft gaze at the mat, that's okay too. Whatever makes you feel most comfortable. And we're just going to do Samasthitihi, that even breath today, where it's 4 counts for the inhale, 4 to hold, 4 to exhale, and 4 to hold out. So, and I might start to count a little bit slower. So if you're like, is she making us hold this longer? Probably. So let's begin. So take that nice long inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Continue. On your next exhale, let everything out. And take another deep breath in. And just release. Beautiful. Let's blink open the eyes, nice and slow and gentle. Oh, I hope that evened everyone out a little bit, prepared you for our practice today. So I'm going to move my props for now so we can get some stretching in. We'll be happy to know that today is really going to be a lot of stretching work today. So be mindful and be careful when we do go into some of these poses with the joints and with obviously with the muscles too, but just be really mindful to make sure that you feel comfortable in all of the poses. So remember, your mat is your safe place, right? So let's come to Sukhasana, easy pose, cross-legged. Since I was in cross-legged before for quite a while, I'm going to switch my cross. I always kind of check in with my knees and go, okay, it's okay, or if I need a block or a bolster under my knee. But if it doesn't feel right, go ahead and switch back to that original position. So go ahead, sit up tall. We're going to do that nice side stretch. So bring a palm down towards the floor. Reach the other hand up and over. Press the hip down into the floor and really reach those fingertips away from that hip. And then bring that down. And we'll go to the other side. Nice stretch. And we'll bring it back. Start to move with the breath a little bit. Inhaling, rising. Exhale, bring it down. Inhaling up. And exhale, bring it down. And if your neck allows it, you can start to kind of gaze up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. A little soft smile on the face. Realizing that you are here to be in your joyful spot on the mat. Let's go one more time on each side. And we'll finish up here. Excellent. Oh, it feels so good. Let's go ahead and bring the legs out in front of us. Oof. A little stiff and sore today. So this is another reason we get to have a nice stretchy practice today. So go ahead and shake them out. Give them a little massage. Just let them shake. All right, let's give them a little rub down. Really getting the blood working and flowing into our legs today. let's start with just our feet, our ankles. Let's bring them back and forward. Little point and flex action. You can sit forward, you can bring it back. This is just about those shins and the calves, working through those feet a little bit. If you can hear mine, they sound a little bit like Rice Krispies right now. Little popping action. All right, and then let's take care of a forward fold to start with. So take that nice inhale, bring it up towards the ceiling. We're gonna reach out forward first. So keep that long spine. Maybe hold it here for a second, just to really lengthen through the fingertips. And then when you're ready, lower down a little bit, chest coming towards the thighs. You can drop those hands down towards the floor. If you can reach your feet, you can pull the toes back. Otherwise, just relax those shoulders and let those shoulder blades be wide and away from each other. Try to keep the neck fairly long, so we don't want to drop it down too far or look too far up. Keep it in a fairly neutral position. And then also, if you like, if you're grabbing onto your ankles, you can actually give yourself a little pull towards those feet. Not necessarily that you're pulling down, but maybe a little bit like you're pulling longer. Breathe through that. Use your breath as the stretch as well. So take that big inhale and notice where that stretches maybe a little bit through the back. All right, I'm gonna slowly and softly come up. We are gonna do another forward fold, but there's a certain stretch that I wanna get to tonight. So we're gonna do it right now. So let's come to our tabletop all fours, but actually we're gonna come down onto the mat. We're gonna come down with our bellies all the way down to the floor. And you know what? Let's go ahead and take care of our back just a little tiny bit. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do those 3 lovely lifts. So the first one, we just check in, a little baby lift, and check in with the back and say, okay, how am I feeling in the back bend today? Maybe this is where you're at and you're like, I don't wanna go any higher, but let's go ahead and release. You can shake those hips side to side if you're holding any tension in through the back and the back of the legs. Then go ahead and press up a little more deeply. And you can pull the shoulders back and your chest forward, maybe finding that stretch along the front body. And then slowly make your way back down to the mat. And of course, we're gonna go up as high as we wish on this next one. So that means only as far as that felt good to you. So maybe it's that little baby cobra. Maybe it's that one that's a little bit higher. Or maybe you've practiced a lot of back bends and you know you can come up high and it'll feel good to you. Check in with the breath, make sure the breath is slow and easy and that you can feel that breath stretching through the front body. And when you're ready, slowly make your way back down. And you can bring one hand on top of the other, forehead down onto the hands. Take a couple breaths here, just laying down. All right, I'm gonna have you roll just a little bit over so you can see me. Just roll to one side if you can see me. Bring a knee up to the edge of the mat. And we're gonna roll back down. Notice that I have the side that I rolled to, my arm is nice and long. I'm gonna place that knee down. I'm gonna look down towards the mat. I'm gonna let this stretch. So you can press this hip down into the mat. And you're like, oh, that feels pretty good, maybe feels pretty good. But the other option is to take this other hand where that bent knee is, reach behind you, lift that back leg up. And if you can catch that foot, you can pull that leg in. And if you want, you can lay your head down. Let yourself relax here. Believe it it or not, the name of this pose is cat pulling its own tail. All right, we're gonna move to the other side. So release that, come back down. You can lay down onto the floor, head down onto the mat. I'm gonna switch sides so I'm not turning away from you. And we'll do that same thing. So we'll reach out a hand and roll to the other side. Bring the other knee up towards the edge of the mat, and then roll back down to allow that hip to stretch down into the floor. And then of course, if you want that back leg stretch, that nice thigh stretch, you reach back, find that foot, and we'll pull it in. Be mindful of the knee, make sure that knee, actually both knees feel comfortable, but especially that one that you are pulling your tail on. All right, we're gonna release that. And we're gonna slowly make our way back up to our tabletop, all fours. I'm gonna turn around to my favorite side. So finding that. So we're gonna go ahead and do just one more little stretch through the toes. So I want you to reach back and spread your toes out and have them connect with the mat. So you might need to roll your toe, your pinky toe a little bit towards the mat. Same thing on the other side. Spread out those toes and let them stretch. Now, if you haven't done this before, this can be fairly intense. So if you're like, don't like it, go ahead and uncurl those toes. But if you're like, have done this before and you're getting used to that toe stretch, go ahead, press back a little bit to find a little deeper stretch through the fascia of the foot. Take it slow and easy. All right. So from here, it's a perfect way to go into downward dog. If you have those toes already tucked and stretched out, if you want to, have your hands directly under your shoulders, we're gonna walk them out just a little bit. And then we're gonna lift up into our first downward dog. So go ahead, lift the hips up. You can keep up on those toes for a moment if you like. Then settle those heels down. And rather than going right into the pedaling of it, a lot of times we pedal our downward dog. See if you can sit still for just a moment and really just feel this. Press the palms forward. Press the feet back. Notice the sensation in the toes and the feet. You might even feel a little more blood flow coming through them. I just noticed I was letting my head drop down. So lift your head just so where you feel the back of the neck just working a tiny, tiny bit. That's that neutral position. We're so used to letting our heads drop that we forget that we can lift the head slightly just to add that tiny bit of work. But it also counteracts all that fun tech neck. So where we're headed, when we look down a lot. Taking a few more breaths here in this lovely first downward dog. Go ahead, if you really have the urge to start pedaling it out, go ahead, drop one knee down and the other. Looking forward, start to look forward towards those hands. And maybe even lifting the chest a little bit, giving yourself that space to walk forward. So when you're ready, slowly move those feet forward. Give yourself a generous knee bend when you get here. And then we're just gonna slowly roll up. Beautiful, rolling up, roll those shoulders back. Let's do that a couple times. We didn't really do a lot of shoulder rolls, but we're gonna take care of them during our salutations. So roll them back. Excellent. And then we're gonna lift up our hands up over our head. We're gonna interlace our fingers and just rotate over. We're just gonna turn to a side, nice side stretch. You can face the front of your mat. I know I'm moving around, but just go ahead and face towards the front of your mat. Come back up to our center and move to the other side. Bringing it back up towards our center. Let's drop our hands down. Let's bring our palms forward, roll those shoulders back, lift the toes, lift the shoulders, settle them down, close the eyes for a moment. Deep breath in, long exhale out. Beautiful. Inhale, bring those hands up overhead. And then exhale, find a forward fold with a nice flat back if you can. Soften through the knees though. Keep that back long all the way down until we can touch the ground. Release the head down. Go ahead and find a halfway lift. Extend through the back. Pull the shoulders away from the ear. Nice long spine. And we're going to exhale back down. We're doing the hatha version today. So plant those hands down. Shift your weight over to the left. Right foot cranes up, slides back, and drops down to the floor. Drop the knee down and look up. So the hatha version is the one where we step back and we find our downward dog. And then the Ashtanga is the one with the chaturangas. So we're going to plant our hands here, and we're going to step this front foot back into our downward dog. Again, finding that length. Pull up through the bottom of the rib cage, almost like you're doming your back just slightly. But keep that long spine. Lift the head just slightly. Keep that long, long, long spine. Crown of the head all the way to the tailbone. Excellent. We're going to come forward, almost like we're going to come into that nice high plank, but we're going to drop our knees down, drop the chin and chest. See if we can hover, nice and slow. Hover that chin and chest just off the mat. Pull the belly in. A little bit of work here. And then settle down in. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Lift up into a cobra. Press the top of the feet down into the floor. And come back down, and we'll all find downward dog. So this is where you can do a push-up, or you can find tabletop and up. If you're gonna do that push-up, engage the legs, engage the belly, engage the whole body, and push up, and find our downward dog. Couple breaths here. And we're gonna move that right foot back up between the hands. So look towards the hands, right foot steps forward, we look up. Step the left foot forward, forward fold. Beautiful. Drop the hips down, find your chair. Utkatasana, light pose. Inhale, come up, sweep those hands down, find them at heart center. Excellent. We're going to do a little twist here. So inhale, come up. One hand goes back, one hand goes forward, twist. Inhale up, and other side. Back up to our center, twist, and back up, and twist. And we'll find our salutations on the other side. So come forward, bring those hands down, bring them at heart center. Breath in, breath out. Hands come down towards the mat. Lift the shoulders, lift the toes, and settle them down in. Beautiful. Inhale, hands come up overhead. Exhale, finding that forward fold, using that flat back if we can. Soften through the knees, but keep the spine as long as you can. And then we round down. Drop the head and fingers down to the floor. We inhale, coming up, raise those fingertips along the shins, lengthen through the spine. Come back down. Plant the hands, shift the weight to the right, left foot cranes up, slides back, floats down to the mat. Dropping the knee down, lift the head and chest, look up. Beautiful. And then plant those hands, slide that front foot back into our downward dog. Reconnect with the breath here. Again, pull those bottom ribs up. If you don't know what I'm talking about, take a quick look at me. I'm pulling my bottom ribs up and down right now. So it's almost like somebody tickles your bottom ribs and you go, ooh. So pull them up, long spine, and then lift that head so your ears are about where your biceps are. Beautiful, we're coming down to the mat. So come forward into that high plank. Come and pitch forward even just a little bit more. So if you just come in a high plank here, see if you can come forward a little bit. If not, don't worry about it. Drop the knees, chin and chest. Nice little bit of work here. And then drop down. Inhale, cobra. So we engage the legs, press down the feet, engage, squeeze those glutes, lifting up. That whole body, back body is working, chest is forward. Come down. Same thing, to come back into our down dog, tabletopping up, or really engage the front body now. So squeeze, so lift up those kneecaps, squeeze those thighs, pull that belly in nice and strong, and then press and find that down dog. Who knew how that work was involved, right? Let's go ahead and look forward towards those hands. Walk or hop forward. Beautiful. Halfway lift. Find that forward fold. Drop the seat down. Utkatasana, mighty pose. Find your breath. If your knees are close enough, squeeze them together. Find that breath. Really connect. Nice inhale and exhale. Look up through your hands and come all the way up. Let it come down. Find your heart center. Nice breath in. And exhale, drop those hands down. Oh yeah. Go ahead, roll those shoulders back a few more times if that feels good. All right, let's take a nice breath in. Just bring those hands up. You can cross them and bring them down. Inhale, bring them up. And bring them down. One more time, inhaling up. And exhale, bring them down. Lift the shoulders and lift the toes. Lift your toes off the mat. And then settle them down into the mat. Bring your palms forward, facing the front of your mat. Beautiful. Inhale, we're going to do one more on each side. We're going to move a little bit quicker this time. So inhale, bring those hands up overhead. Exhale, find that nice long spine, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, come down. Shift the weight to the left. Right foot cranes up, slides back. Drop that knee and look forward. Here's where we catch up, right? Everybody catch up. Plant those hands, find downward dog. So slide that foot back. Tickling those bottom ribs. Lift them up, lengthen through the neck and spine. Beautiful. Come forward into that high plank. Keeping pitching forward if you can. Drop the knees, chin and chest. And then sink down. Engage those legs. Lift up for a cobra. And come back down. Find your down dog. Tabletopping up or fully engaged plank. Lift back into our down dog. Beautiful. Look forward towards the hands. You can hop or walk your right foot and left foot. Drop those hips. Utkatasana, mighty pose. Find your breath, gaze up through your fingertips if you can. If it's not comfortable, don't do it. Shift your weight back into your heels. And then lift up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Nice breath in. Exhale, drop those hands down. Nice. Lift toes, lift shoulders. Drop them down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold, nice and long. Halfway lift. Beautiful, shifting our weight to our right when we get down here. Crane the left leg up, slide it back. Float it down to the mat. Drop the knee down, look up. Beautiful, catching up, right? Plant those hands, slide that front foot back into our downward dog. Bottom ribs lift up, long spine, lift the head between the biceps. Press down with the palms, press down with the feet. Really engage this whole body here. Even if this is our resting pose, think of it as a strong and stable resting pose. All right, come forward into that high plank. Pitch forward if you can, drop the knees, chin and chest to the floor, cover, pull the belly in, nice and strong. And then sink down in. Ooh. Press the top of the feet down, pull the shoulders back, lift into a beautiful cobra. And come back down. Finding that high plank into downward dog or that tabletop, whatever works best for you. Engage and come back. Beautiful. Left foot comes forward. Right foot comes forward. Drop those hips down. Inhale up into that Utkatasana. Looking up towards the sky. Find your strength here. Beautiful. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And inhale, come up. Exhale, find that forward fold. Step back into our downward dog. Knees come down nice and wide, finding child's pose. Toes together. Head and chest come down towards the mat. Now, if you can't get your forehead to the floor, go ahead and stack your fists or find a block. Find that resting position for just a few moments here. Find your breath. All right, slowly start to come up just to a seated position. And you'll realize I'm magic that my mat has shifted a little bit. I just turned to the side a little bit so you guys can see. This is where we're going to do the balancing a little bit on the knees. So blocks, if you have them, are great and handy. And also the blanket. So if you're wondering where to have that blanket, I would just kind of have it in the center of your mat. So then you can position it wherever you need it, wherever your knees will land. But like I said, we won't be there terribly long, but if you do have a knee issue, feel free to use a blanket. And I'll also show you a modification where you have both knees down, so you're not just kneeling on one knee. So you ready to start? It's gonna be a good stretchy one, so make sure be mindful of your ligaments and muscles as well. So we're going to be coming into lizard pose. If you guys know that one, if not, it's okay, you will, right? So find your tabletop, all fours, and go ahead and tuck your toes up into that downward dog. Pull the bottom ribs up and in, nice and long. Bring your right foot into the center of the mat. Lift your left leg up. If you like, you can bend the knee and bring it back behind you. And when you do that, you'll notice that it kind of starts to lift that left hand. So you want to bring the hand that's away from the leg. So if you want to, you shift your body weight so you have even weight in the hands, yet that back foot is pulling away from you. You'll find a nice stretch through the side body. I know, hold it just a little longer, press that foot away. Check in the hands, even shift your weight if it needs to be even. Excellent, bring that knee around. We're gonna bring it forward between the hands. So start to dome up, step up onto your toes, nice and slow, bring that forward. And you can edge forward. You can bring that toes and kind of squeak them forward. Drop the knee down on that back foot. Drop that foot down. So this is a deep hip flexor stretch. If you want to come up and check into it, you can. Obviously, you can come up further if you don't like that nice deep stretch through the hip flexor. So we're going to bring both hands onto the inside of the foot. Pull those hips forward, and you can find a little movement here. So if you like, you can circle around in one direction. So this is where I said, if you're like, want something under that knee, go ahead and do so, but not, like I said, hopefully it won't be terrible on your knees, right? But if you need that cushion, go ahead and find it. All right, so So if you want a little bit deeper stretch, feel free to come down to the forearms here. Try to keep the spine long, not dropping or lifting the head. Just keep it nice and long here. Check in, make sure it feels okay. And here comes the true test as we start to move a little bit deeper into different positions here. Come back up onto your hands. And I want you to peel this front foot open. So your big toe comes up off the mat, pinky toe down. It's kind of, here, I'll turn to the side a little bit. So it's opening that hip here. And if you like, be very gentle. You can press that hip away just a little bit. All right, bring it back in. I realized I probably want my blocks closer to me. So if you have blocks, you can have one on either side. That works even better. Because we're going to start to walk back. And we can bring our blocks with us if we need to. If you don't have them, that's fine. And notice I just moved my foot. I felt a little more stable. Like you can move it around. Find a nice long spine to start with here. So if you're crouched over, see if you can find that long spine. Maybe you need the blocks here to do that as well. Find that long spine, and you'll find that nice stretch through the back of the leg. Be mindful of that knee. See if you can point that toe down, and maybe bring it back. Pointing it down, and bring it back. All right. You can bring it back into a flexed position. Find that nice long spine. Here we go. We're going to find some balance. So come on up. Maybe you need a block on the side to hold on to. It's more of a challenge than you think because we're going to find some movement here. But if you don't need those blocks, yeah, once you get up, nice and stable, bring those hands up overhead. And then interlace those fingers. We're in lightning mudra, so pointer finger is up. Really reach up. Pull those bottom ribs in. Strong, strong, strong. Breathe. All right. And we're going to find some twists here. So go ahead, open those hands away from each other. Twist over towards the open leg, or that long leg. That nice long line there. Yeah. Come back towards our center. Now you're like starting to see why this is a balance pose, right? Other side. Find that nice stability, right? Come back up into our center. Beautiful. The leg that is extended, I'm going to reach over towards this side here. So if you have a block, you can find your block here. If you don't have it, you can just reach down towards the mat. Take that top hand and reach over towards that nice long leg. And you might find a really deep stretch along that side. Right? Come back up, nice and strong. Other side, same thing. Hand comes down, reach over. Beautiful, come back up towards our center. Now some little bit of a little trickier pose here. So what we're going to do, if you have your blocks, it's great. If not, don't worry about it. What we're going to do is we're going to lift up our block a little bit and place it just behind us. So you might have to figure out where you want that placement of the block. Reach behind and press those toes forward. So you're in a really big, long stretch here. And then you have to come back out. So bend forward, come back out, hands at heart center, and we'll try the other side. So maybe you need that block. Maybe you can reach it behind you. You can find some stability. Start to lift that chest up, lift that hand up, find that nice long line. Maybe press those toes down towards the floor. Oh my goodness, yeah. And then start to come forward. Beautiful. Walk those hands forward to that nice little lunge again. Tuck those toes under. Slide the front foot back into our downward dog. We'll bring our knees down to the floor. You can come into child's pose if you like. Otherwise, just come up to a seated position. We're just going to reset our blocks to bring them a bit forward where we were. So you can just stay upright if you like. A couple breaths here. Notice the difference on one side from the other. I am breathing a little bit hard just because that wobbly, that balance is really good. It's a nice core balance there. So go ahead, find our tabletop. We're going to the other side. Tuck those toes under. Lift up those hips. Into those toes and then settle the heels down. Lift through the bottom ribs. Find a length through the spine. Bring the left foot in towards the center. Right foot rises up towards the sky. You come up way high onto the toes. Bend that top knee and let it fall over towards the edge of your mat behind you. Notice the weight in your hands has shifted. So your body, you can shift so you're even in your hands and then pull that foot away a little bit more. Shift and pull. Find that nice space on through that side of the body. All right, nice and slow. Look forward towards the hands. Start to bring that knee forward and in, and we'll bring that foot right down, maybe in front of us between our hands. You can wiggle those toes. You can move and shift into that position, into that nice low lunge. Drop that knee down. Ooh, yeah, right? Oh, here we are on the other side. Go ahead, bring those hands down. Maybe find a little movement here. You can bring those hands back if that feels better, but you can find a little movement, maybe a little forward and back. Check in, see how things are feeling on this other side. All right, from here you can stay up or go ahead and bring those forearms down. Find that stretch that feels comfortable to you. Be mindful, like I said, intermediate is more about knowing your body's limits and where things feel good and comfortable, and where you should just sit things out or find another modification. So come back up onto those palms. We can open up that foot, so we let that big toe rise up off the mat. We can press away that knee from the body. Making sure it feels comfortable. Bring it back in. We're going to shift to the back so we can grab our blocks. Shift that weight to the back. I forgot to tell you that here is where, if it doesn't feel good to you, you can bring both knees down, right? Otherwise, find that nice long length through. Maybe even, if you don't have the blocks, that's fine. Just find that length in the back and find that stretch. Come down a little bit, lengthen, maybe push that foot forward. Find that nice long spine. Beautiful. All right, you ready for the challenges of this knee balance? Sure we are, right? So come on up, start to come up. If you need blocks, great. If not, we're gonna find our balance and we're gonna find that lightning mudra again. So interlace the fingers, pointer finger up, reach up, lift through that spine, pull the bottom rib cage in, gazes forward, nice and strong. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Find a couple breaths here. We're gonna find those twists pretty soon. So go ahead, open those hands up away from each other. Go ahead, one hand forward, one hand back. I'm twisting towards the extended leg. Nice and slow. Moving through that balance, right? Come on up. I'm struggling a little bit on this side. And then go to the other side. I might have to move my knee a little bit. There we go. A little bit more stable. I was working in one plane here. Come on up, back to our center. Beautiful, and we're gonna go side to side now. So hands out to the side. We're gonna bring that hand down towards the mat, towards the extended leg. Reach over towards that other side. Back up towards our center. And then the other side, left hand, or the other side comes down. Reach over, finding that stretch through the other side. All right, we're gonna find that nice long stretch behind us. So go ahead and we'll take a block and we're gonna reach it. We can even lift it up. Start to find that little bit of a back bend maybe. And if you don't wanna do that back bend, you can just lift straight up. But if you want that nice little reaching back pose, reach back, press those hips forward, point those toes down towards the mat. Nice reach, nice length. And then we need to slowly come back up towards our center. And we can go to the other side. So start nice and long. I like starting with that high block. Reach it out behind us, reach up, maybe bring it down a notch. Feel like, yep, I can get more. Reach behind, let it happen. Find that stability, point that toe forward, nice and strong. Then come back forward. Find those hands down towards the ground, soften through that front knee. Walk those hands forward, tuck the toes on that back foot, slide that front foot back. Downward dog. Hold this downward dog here for a moment. Feel that stretch through the calves. Find that stillness in this pose. Press down each knuckle of each finger down into the mat. Then go ahead, bring the knees down, nice and wide, finding child's pose. So if you need to move blocks, go ahead and do so. Go ahead and start to come back up towards our tabletop all fours. We just have a little bit of time where I would like to do just an easy, even standing balancing pose. So let's just go ahead, tuck those toes under, find our downward dog. And go ahead and either walk your hands up towards walk your feet up towards your hands or your hands back towards your feet. You can do either one, doesn't matter. Whichever one, you're gonna find a forward fold and you're gonna slowly roll on up. Roll those shoulders back, beautiful. All right, we're just gonna find eagle pose today, just for fun, just one last little balancing pose, because there's so many awesome variations to it. So let's bring our right hand up towards the ceiling, left hand comes over. We can grab onto our shoulders or wrap those hands around. And we're gonna come into that nice little squat pose. Come up onto the left toes. And if you can, we're gonna bring those left toes, we're gonna bring them over. You can cross the thighs and wrap those toes around the calf, or you can place your toes down onto the mat. Just find that stability first. Don't struggle too much with the balance. Squeeze those thighs, give yourself a nice squeeze through those arms, nice and tight. A little bit of work here. Yes, maybe bring those elbows down, belly in. Excellent, we're gonna unwind the legs first. So unwind the legs, back into the standing position. Come up to standing. Do a little back bend if it feels good. You can lift those elbows up towards the ceiling. And release. Unwind. Other side. Left hand comes up. Right hand comes over. Grab onto shoulders or wrap the arms. Yeah. All right, this time shifting to the left foot. Lift up that right leg. Either bringing it up nice and high and wrapping the toes around, or go ahead and put the toes down onto the mat, whatever works best for you. But when we get here, we want to squeeze those thighs together, find a little bit of work, squeeze those biceps, make those arms nice and tight, pull the belly in, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Maybe come down a little bit. I noticed I was like, not down too far. Make myself work just a tiny bit more, right? We're gonna unwind those legs, so come up, unwind, find stable ground here. If you'd like to find that back bend, go ahead and do so. So squeeze the glutes, bring those hips forward, elbows come up towards the ceiling. Come back and unwind. Beautiful. Let's step to the front of our mat if we're not. We'll just do one more salutation quick. Just a regular Ashtanga one to get down to the mat. Inhaling up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bring it down. Stepping back, high plank. Finding a cobra or up dog. Remember, if you come into up dog, pitch forward, stop halfway, and then lift up the head and chest. And find our downward dog. We're gonna make our way down to seated to get down to our Shavasana. So however you like to get to your seated position, go ahead and do so. Beautiful. We're gonna bring our feet out nice and wide on the mat. Get blankets, whatever you need for your Shavasana, because we're gonna go right down into it, right? So find that work, and we're gonna find that rest. So roll that spine down. Beautiful. Go ahead and maybe lift those hips up slightly. Roll the spine down onto the floor. Bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice little hug. Bring the forehead to the knees. Squeeze the eyes, the jaw, everything tight, tight, tight. Then take that full body stretch. Toes to one end, fingertips to the other. Big breath in. And big breath out. Bring the hands down at your side. If you'd like to be covered, you go ahead. You can find your blanket and your covering here. Still feeling any tension through the chest or the shoulders. Take a deep breath in and an open mouth exhale out. Feel free to do that a couple more times, or just to find your slow and even breath here. Each breath bringing in a little more softness in the body. Allowing the body to sink and relax. breath. I invite you to breathe a little more deeply. Feel free to stay here on your back. Otherwise, if you'd like, you can roll to one side or the other, whatever might be calling to you tonight. Finally, slowly and mindfully making your way back up to a seated position. I welcome you all to bring your hands at heart center. Om Gum Ganapataye Namaha. Peace to you and all beings on earth, and may all obstacles be moved from your path. The light and teacher in me honors the light and teacher in each one of you. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I hope you had a wonderful practice. Take care and have a wonderful weekend. See you later.